Hello, everybody,
Hello, hello, hello.
and happy holidays to all of you all. I hope you have some very nice Christmas planned, and if you don't, just enjoy the time off.
I'm off to California tomorrow.
Good for you.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
Ladies, while you are, does D have my number by any chance?
is he having trouble with the?
Yeah, he's trying to come in, but it's a mic slash what is it? Camera problem. So
Uh-oh.
yeah, D you can probably hear me. But if so, Peggy's probably going to text you my number, and we'll work on it. If I need to go backstage for a bit, I can do that as well. But have him call me. Basically, tell him to check his connections so that we can get because we can have him come in and whatnot.
All right, let me see whether I can get this done. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, for our technical difficulties. We definitely want to get this man in. All right, Jay Levy home, right?
Say what?
Jay Levy home.
No. Jay Levy cell.
Cell. No, I don't think I have the cell.
Okay, go to private chat, and I'll give you my cell. I know you got my cell number.
Yeah, I go to private chat. All right.
Hi, everyone. Never mind us. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
Or if you're a Wizard of Oz fan, the man behind the curtain. Okay,
right.
Let me go to your private chat. Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, we're sorry for the delay, but you can certainly know we're all excited about the game on Sunday.
The Sin City Stunner. Right. Payback from way back.
Okay, I'm in your private chat.
Okay, you in the private chat? The number's there, honey.
Okay, well then I've got the wrong. I got J Captain Jack Levy.
Yeah, you see the. I'm not giving my home private cell unless you are a stacked. No, never mind. But anyway, yeah. Okay. No. Peggy, I'm talking about. And you see where it says on the right where it says comments, banners, brand, and private chat.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Amazing how that works. So there you go. Yeah, if you go into there, my number's there.
All right, let me give him the number now so that he can. J private number.
Yeah.
Hello, Tales by Diesel. Hello, J Room. Welcome.
That's my darling Jay from South Carolina. Y'all know, Jay Goulet.
That's right. And this game, I wanted to just start off right away, asking you about what you think the real highlight, besides that last play. What do you think are some of the one or two highlights, things that you like what you saw about that game on Sunday? Heidi, you can just kick us off. One or two things where you like what you saw.
Well, it was nice to see Waller back. That was a very nice touchdown that he had. What I did like was Carr finally converting on 4th down on that final drive to start.
And Captain, go ahead.
What I didn't like was going away from Devontae Adams, but
he was taken away.
Yeah.
And I think you have to give Bill Belichick some credit and his defense some credit for that. I mean, coming into this game, they knew that's Carr's safety valve. I mean,
but Carr was willing to spread the ball around, so that was good. I was glad to see that.
Captain, give me things that you liked and did not like about the game.
Okay, purely egotistically, I like the fact that Jonathan Vilma made mention of my dance skills, saying that I was I was feeling myself, I think was the exact quote.
What was that? One of the announcers?
Yeah, that was the color commentator who was working
Scott
the
Van
game.
Pelt, that guy's happy.
Oh yeah, well I was getting, see, you're ruining it. That was number 2. Okay.
Sorry.
And number 2.
Well, yeah, number 2 was Scott Van Pelt saying that, well, that guy's happy, and then it cuts to, but as a Raiders fan, and it was a great segue because I was doing this, and it's like, well, that guy's happy, but and then and so the fact, and again, purely egotistically, was that those people remarking about what I was doing, game wise. I like the fact that even though they're still bitching about it, okay, the Keelan Cole touchdown was a effing touchdown. Okay.
Yes.
I'm not even going there because we've been hosed so much by the refs over the last 20 years. I don't care whether the play was right or wrong.
Right. And see, that's the thing, though. It's great that I can, because Boston fans are the most obnoxious sports fans in the United States that I've been shown or have had the pleasure / displeasure of hanging out with. Okay. They are rabid. They are loud. They are a-holes. And even when they get their way, they will never let you know that they got their way, just like a certain tuck rule. And then every one of them was screaming, bitching that the Cole touchdown wasn't a touchdown. Whoa.
It doesn't matter to me. Anything that gets called on them after the tuck rule, they can forget it. I'm not even listening. It is tuned out. And let's face it, if you want to really look at where we were in that game, that Cole touchdown saved us.
Yeah, it did, because you don't get that touchdown, and obviously you can never assume the extra point. But with Carlson, it's 99% guaranteed because he's missed a few. But you can never assume the extra point. But still, the fact that we got that touchdown. And as Heidi said, the fact that we were down to a 4th down play, and I think it was to Hollins that got the 4th and 10, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Okay. So he connects with Hollins, and Hollins dropped like 3 that I remember, and Adams.
Nothing unusual there.
Yeah, I mean, but he can't. He comes through when he needs to, a la the touchdown and the first down. And I will say one of the ones that he dropped was just off his fingertips. It was like about 3 inches too long on the long bomb.
Yeah. Now we're talking about things that you didn't like, and let's go back to our old favorite of grading the units for the week. I know it may be something that is hard to do, but we want to go over the whole game effort. And Heidi, on offense, what grade do you give them for that game?
I'll give them a C+. The first half was good, but it was another tale of two halves. And I got to give them the plus because they did make that comeback. Now, the rest of the second half, they laid there like a limp fish. I don't blame Carr for the pick six. That was on Adams. He signaled that. He telegraphed it. But it was punt, 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 punt. And so, that you're not going to get above a C+ from me if you do that for an entire half. The last 2 minutes were good. The last 2 minutes were great. But No, tale of two halves. I've got to divide it that way.
Captain,
Hey, D, call me up, D. Call me up, D.
I sent him to him in his Facebook chat.
Up,
So
okay. Let me kick this one.
and thanks, Jay Room, for your C for offense. I'm also going to give the offense a C. But once again, when you look at a Raider game, you're just not sure whether it's the play calling or the recognition of the situation or people not executing. I mean, I tried to nail it down as to what the problem was in the third quarter. I guess, as usual, Belichick figured out what we were doing and shut it down. And as usual, McDaniels had no answer. Okay. And then something happened at the end of the fourth quarter. I just can't really understand. Heidi, let's go right to defense and your grade for them this week.
I'll also give them a C. Simply because they did allow the comeback, although the comeback wasn't really on them. The one touchdown, was given up by the offense. But you know what? I'll give them a C plus.
And my grade is a little bit lower than yours, and it's a D. And I'm going to tell you why. The Raiders managed to limit the Patriots to one dimension. They gained 206 yards rushing, but only 112 yards passing. I fail to understand how a one-dimensional team is able to come back and score 14 points on you in the second half. The pick six, well, that wasn't them. But I failed to see why we were tied 24-24 when we really were only struggling with the run game on defense. And for that reason, I'm going to give
And Ramondre Stevenson had a great game.
100
until the last play.
Right. Well, 172 yards rushing. We had no sacks. I want to give a shout out to Luke Masterson, though, who had a top tackle game, 11 tackles, 5 solos.
He looked good.
He's beginning to see something, but the gap control was simply horrible, especially at the D-line level. We just could not get that running game stopped. And I got somebody out there, maybe Matthew, you could tell me how in the world we could have been tied with them when we were only dealing with the running game. The boy only had 112 yards passing the entire game. And now I want to go right to coaching, Heidi, for the New England game. Your grade? She's thinking long and hard. You know what that means.
I'm trying to decide between C minus and D plus.
Is there a distinction here?
Well, the C minus would be because it appeared that McDaniels let Carr loose at the end of the game. He actually let him do what he does best. But Patrick Graham, another uninspiring game. Josh McDaniels, I liked the first half. The first half was good.
It always is.
But that no halftime adjustments. Belichick, you're playing Belichick. He's going to make halftime adjustments, and he's going to make the right adjustments. And they failed to make any again. So I'll give them a D plus.
Yeah, and I'm with you on the coaching, and I hate to be so hard on them, but we have seen this game after game after game of the game going out of control. and no one can stop it. It's like they can't possibly adjust on the fly. And now where are we at game 14? Here you are deep into the season. You should know your personnel. You should know your playbook. Your players know your playbook. Yet you can't adjust to situations. You're still unable to change defenses between series, between quarters. I just, I'm waiting for that to happen, for this staff to mature. A staff, by the way, that we're going to have to deal with next year. And
I think that if there is a complete collapse in the last 3 games, Mark Davis might find a way to get rid of him.
But I don't know if our audience knows out there, the NFL sent out a report this week.
Yeah, I saw that.
Nearly $800 million being paid by the 32 teams to coaches and their staffs who are no longer coaches and GMs. And for Goodell, he sees that as a problem. I mean, I don't know whether it is a problem, but I do know that this impatience, and audience, you have to help me out here to explain this. I mean, it's almost like they're responding to the fans. Okay, you guys keep calling for this guy's head. Let's get rid of him. You keep calling for this quarterback to be replaced. Let's get rid of him. Look at Irsay in Indianapolis, Heidi. I mean,
well, if Mark Davis does get rid of them, I don't think it would be because of the fans.
No.
I think it would be because he's ticked off.
And that, too, is what the NFL is talking about.
Yeah, you get a win like the Raiders did, and you're going to have a happy owner. Even if, once again, the team collapsed and couldn't hold the lead. You're still going to have a happy owner just because of the result.
And to go further into McDaniel, I wanted to, talk a little bit about what you see. Have you seen any progress at all in, let's just isolate things that coaches do. Heidi, play calling. From game 1 to game 14. You see anything?
Every time I think I see some progress, he messes up and takes 10 steps back again. Every time I'm thinking, he's made some improvement, he's gotten a little better, he'll do something where it's just like, oh, well, there went that idea. So I've got to say there has to be some improvement because the team is winning more games now. The first 5 games, it was ridiculous. There was a complete collapse by the players and by the coaching. And now they've actually put together a few wins. So there's got to have been some improvement. But
yeah,
not much. Not much.
One thing that I'm not seeing anymore, thank God, that I saw in the beginning of the season was the risk taking in the play calling. Okay? Especially that first Kansas City game just blew my mind. I mean, you have a chance to tie and send this game into overtime, and you don't give your team that chance. It's not doing that anymore. Okay? Like I said, if you want to go to the craps table, gamble with your own money, not somebody else's money. I absolutely like what I saw when he's now deciding to take the path, to take the tie, to give his team a chance. And I kind of think that that's one improvement. He's not doing that anymore. Play calling, still uninspired. I was really worried about how he was going to integrate Heidi, how he was going to integrate Waller. and Renfro into the offense when he had struggled and had so much trouble.
And
It,
he didn't do a great job, but he didn't do terrible at it.
no. And I think you have to let your quarterback, Josh, you got to let your quarterback read the situation, read the player, and make the play. I don't care what was called, okay? You've absolutely got to let your guy play the game. And if the play was supposed to go to Adams and Renfro is open, then he's got to go to Renfro. None of this, your second read shall be Waller. I think that was something that we saw a lot of in the beginning as well. And I just don't understand why he's still struggling with this concept.
Oh, and I will address Big Tone. So you want another system being implemented next year? No, I never said that.
Oh,
I said
didn't?
I could see Mark Davis getting ticked off and doing that.
Mhm.
That's all. The staff does need another season to see if it works. I'm not been very happy with the staff at all, but I never said that I want to see another system implemented again next year.
And I wish the captain was here. And I want to go talk now about Graham. He's a young guy. I don't think he has enough experience as a DC under his belt. I'm still looking for that defensive coordinator that can evaluate the personnel he has and use them properly. And the bend, getting that bend, but don't break into that defense, which we have never seen. They bend and break at some of the crucial times. A lot of criticism, Heidi, for Graham in that last drive in the Rams game. I know it's 2 weeks out, but they were saying
that Rams game was ugly. The end of the Rams game was ugly.
I mean, one of the things we pointed out is that the Raiders really don't have a lot of man guys, but yet you were in a man scheme when somebody had 98 yards to go. And I kept saying, where's the zone? Where's the cover two? Where's the, where's the pressing? Where's everything that you do to keep somebody from driving 98 yards? Graham didn't do it. And oh, by the way, while we talk about Graham, let's also talk about Rob Ryan. What is he doing there? What's his job?
Looking pretty.
I mean, Heidi, he's listed as a defensive assistant, a high-level assistant. I can't believe, and some people remarked on this, that he would see Graham in that defense and that there would be no change for the entire 98-yard drive. I'm like, what are we doing here? Are we saying let Graham sink or swim? It feels like the way Gruden treated Gunther. Even though he knew he was messing up, hands off.
Yeah.
Hi, John. I know you guys are really, really hyped on the Raiders' playoff chances for sure. And Heidi, what you're thinking about the playoff chances?
Technically, we're still in it. As a hapless fan, I'll still believe as long as they're still in it. I don't think it'll happen, but I hope it does.
I mean, we've got a tough schedule.
Out of the next 3 games, we've got Raiders have 3 very difficult games coming up. Mm-hmm. The Steelers are playing for a playoff spot as well, and it's going to be like -4 degrees when they play them on Saturday night.
Ooh, I like
and then the 49ers are still playing well. even with Brock Purdy, which I said he would do just fine, and he
Mhm.
has been doing just fine. And the Chiefs, it depends on if they're playing for a number one spot or not. If they
Yeah.
have nothing to play for, they might. If they have nothing to play for, they might not start Mahomes and their starters. But that won't make a difference because the Raiders play down to their competition.
Yeah, and that
So
yeah.
I don't think that will make a difference on the last game. If the Raiders play Mahomes, they're more likely to play up to it. But if they're resting their starters, the Raiders will play down. I don't see them overwhelming anyone in that case, even
Well,
though it's a division rival.
and I don't want to kill anybody's dreams. If you guys really think that the Raiders can win out and all these other scenarios can happen for the Raiders to win, get a wild card, God bless you.
The problem I see with the Raiders winning out, assuming the Raiders do win out, is the Dolphins or the Chargers losing at least 2 of their next 3 games.
Yes.
I don't see the Dolphins or Chargers losing 2 of the next 3.
Mm-hmm. That's the main thing that we have to look at. I mean, the other scenarios, our destiny is not in our hands. And hey, why should it be? We've lost some games that we shouldn't have lost. And once again, if people are satisfied with getting into the playoffs, 1 game and done because the competition is much better, okay. But I'm not satisfied with just getting to the playoffs. I want a championship. And to do that, I got to have the team and the defense. And that we don't have yet. That's one of the reasons why I'm gonna let people enjoy themselves as long as they want to. And then I'm just going to say next year. And that's what we were going to talk with Mr. Cato about is next year.
I'm saying next year, but I still have the dream. The dream is still alive.
I know it is. So, Chandler Jones. Boy, let's ask the question that should be asked. What in the world is a Bill Belichick coach team doing playing catch when they had a 24-24 tie in overtime security? Captain, did you hear my question?
No, but I do want to make a quick announcement. Hopefully you guys are not getting a lot of reverb. D is going to have to be a phone guest tonight because of the issues that we have. I hope I didn't lose him. D, you still there? Oh, he's still here. Good.
I'm still here.
Did you hear? Y'all hear him?
Yeah, I do. Hey, D, one of my DC gurus.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, he's going to have problems hearing you, Peggy, because he can hear you, but the time that you guys for the communication, it's going to be so. Give like a couple seconds. And then hopefully you'll be able to talk like that. So D, you got that. Give about like she's gonna say something, and I got the speakers up so you can hear her, and hopefully she can hear you. Sound good?
Works for me.
Hey D, I just asked the question. What in the world is a Bill Belichick coach team doing playing catch the lateral as if they were behind when they got a 24-24 tie and are going into overtime?
You got that, D?
I would say they're not disciplined enough. Bill Belichick doesn't have his hand on the team like he used to. He's not that he's not a bad coach. He just doesn't have the offense guy running the offense and the defensive guy running the defense. He's just the person that oversees everything, and everyone listens to him.
I mean, Captain, what's your take on that lack of discipline at the end of the game.
No, I agree with D in the fact that this is an abnormal Patriots team in the fact that I think that the loss of McDaniel as their offensive coordinator is something that he didn't think was that what he didn't really need, because that's why he has like a compendium of Joe Judge and Matt Patricia, who's a loser, as his offensive. You got Matt Patricia is a friggin' defensive coordinator, and he's using him as an offensive coordinator. Joe Judge is a special teams guy, okay, not an offensive coordinator. And those guys, along with Belichick, as far as I know, are the triumvirate of who's play calling. And before, as D said, Belichick is a let my minions handle their stuff, and as long as they do their work, I will give oversight. If I don't like what that call is, especially in defense, because Patricia was just an underling in the defense, and McDaniel ran the show because he had a certain person who I shall remain nameless that ran that system to a T. And when that person left, he still had a decent input as to Cam Newton and Mac Jones the last couple of years, where they made it work. Okay, Cam Newton was ousted by Mac Jones as a rookie because Mac Jones got the offense. Okay, and he made the playoffs with Mac Jones as a rookie last year.
But the lack of discipline is what I'm really kind of after. I mean,
well,
Bill's losing it.
I think that he's got too many things going on at the time, because if you heard the interview with the center, I think his name is Andrews, and he said that he doesn't know, or he can't attest to, if everybody on the team knew that it was a tie game or not a tie game, because that's why they were trying to do the Stanford lateral move, because if they would have known that it was a tie game, things would have been different. And they all poo-pooed it at the press conference. Well, you got to talk with coach about that. And it's a coach decision. So that this locker room is different, and that's why the Patriots are a 7-7 team, and they might not have a winning record this year.
Heidi, I mean, your thoughts on that? I mean,
I think that Bill Belichick might have taken it for granted that they knew what was going on, and that he didn't need to drill that into them.
I just fail to see how players on the field aren't aware of the score.
I don't buy that they didn't know what the score was. That I don't buy. But I think that Bill Belichick might have taken it for granted that they would know to go down, to go into overtime, and didn't drill it into them. I believe he told them to, because even Jacoby Meyer said that the plan was to go into overtime. That was the plan for the play. But it wasn't drilled into him enough that he, got the ball and went down. He should have never had the ball lateral to him to begin with.
But they're young. Yeah, go ahead.
But they're young players, and I just don't think they've been under Belichick enough for that to have been drilled into them yet. That's the only thing I can think of. I could be wrong, but obviously something went wrong because it happened.
It's just a crazy moment in the downfall of the New England franchise, which, by the way, many people were able to see. D, I wanted to go back to you and Captain, because you missed our discussion, our assessment of McDaniel and Graham, and more particularly, what you think McDaniel is doing better. One thing that you think he's doing better than he did game one, and one thing you think that he's still hasn't understood. And D, I wanted to start with you.
D, did you hear that?
I didn't hear all of it.
It was, and if I heard it all, it was basically McDaniel and Graham. And go say that again there, Peggy, as a
From game 1 to game 14, one area where you see improvement, and maybe one area that you want to see improvement.
yeah, from the start to the finish up to now, an area that you see improvement and an area that you think still needs to be improved with the offense and the defense. Is that the question, Peggy?
Well, let's start with McDaniel.
Okay, in McDaniel and Graham, things that you've seen improvement for, and then things you still need to see improvement with Coach McDaniel.
I'm seeing improvement on defense, but we just don't have the players to execute the defense the way they want to.
Mm-hmm.
We're missing several players on defense. Not having everyone healthy is causing problems on the defense as well as the offense. Mm-hmm. So I'm seeing improvement on the defense. Where I would like to see improvement at is halftime adjustments. We are not making halftime adjustments. We can score in the first half, and the second half, it's zero. It's zero. It's like we go into halftime, and they just have a drink. They don't talk about what needs to be done. That's what we keep messing up at. How many games have we lost in the fourth quarter?
Mm-hmm.
Because he doesn't know how to make halftime adjustments.
Wow. And now, are you saying that's Graham or McDaniel there, D?
That's McDaniels not being able to make halftime adjustments.
Okay.
Graham is making bad calls. That last week, like, why would you press on defense on that last drive? But if he had the right players, he would have had a couple of safeties in the far back, and always blitz a safety against Arizona. You're rushing 3 or 2 defensive linemen that can't catch Kyle Murray.
Mm-hmm.
Rush somebody that's fast, and that would make Kyle Murray make mistakes. Those are games that were winnable. We wouldn't be in this position if he knew how to make those adjustments.
Got it. Captain, your take on McDaniels and Graham from game 1 to game 14. One thing for each.
I think it's a combination of both the coaches and the players not being on the same level, they're still not, they're getting better in gelling, but they still are not at where they're seeing everything the way it should be. And a lack of particular players in defense is handicapping the defense. Okay. I think the defense is playing well with the players that they have available to them, but they still need at least 4 to 5 players that can mesh with Graham's system so that it will be a system that they can read each other well and know where they should be doing. Because remember, Graham is a coach that is multifunctional, kind of like Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio plays a 3-4-4-3-5-2 hybrid, and he runs those players interchangeably, and he needs to have those players that did it. And Fangio did it in Denver. Graham has what he has here, and there still needs to be more input on the defensive side for the players that know where their cohorts and peers are on the field in order to run the right system. And it's going to take at least a year, and maybe even into the third year, definitely going to be in the next year, and maybe into the year after that, until I think that they will be a cohesive group. The offense is better in the fact that we still need some help on the O-line, but we have the best what do you call it? The star players, the best, QB, RB, WR, and TE. Okay, we got that star power on the skill positions, but we still need some help on the O-line. And we don't necessarily need to have all of that money spent on the offense and then put it towards the players that we need on the defense. We need to scale back the offensive money to help our defense go so that because right now, pay wise, the offense is up here, the defense is here. We
It's
need,
the way it's the way the Raiders franchise thinks, and I wanted to go right to D because D, do you have your draft board up already? Your preliminary draft board.
So I put some things together as far as the draft board, as well as players that need to be re-signed, as well as what their market value will be.
And I need to hear that.
Josh Jacobs, since they didn't re-sign him or pick up that 5th-year option, I just said it to both you and Captain Jack, his market value is going to be around $12 million.
Mm-hmm.
We have a salary cap next year of roughly $35.7 million. Between Josh Jacobs and Mac Hollins, those are the only 2 offensive players that I will bring back that are not signed. Mm-hmm. We're paying almost $5 million for backup running backs. Why do we have 6 running backs but only have 4 wide receivers? These are things that, again, I dig deep into my craziness. Since we picked up Tillery as a defensive tackle, the defense has gotten better, but we need another defensive tackle to go with him. And his market value for next year could be roughly $8 million. If we go after someone or re-sign at Tillery, then we don't need to draft a defensive tackle with our first pick. Mm-hmm. Then we go after either a corner or a safety as our first pick. But since we have Harmon, we can re-sign him at $3 million. So our first pick should be a corner. You add a shutdown corner opposite of Nate Hobbs that picks up your secondary. It makes it a better secondary. You resign Terry and get another defensive tackle. Now you got a pass rush. Mm-hmm. And those are the things that we would need to do to start moving forward towards making our defense a better defense, in my opinion.
I was going to say, D, I understand what you're saying. And if, like you said, Tillery, and trust me, I would love to sign Tillery and have the output that the Chargers expected with him that they never got. So I can shove it in coach's face on my Wednesday show next year, because Jerry Tillery to him is like, see what you got. The guy sucks. And, well, he's played well for us because we put him in a system that benefits him.
Exactly.
That benefits him. He's not what the Chargers wanted, but we got him playing the way he should be playing. And aside from a boneheaded play as well as a miscue on the friggin' refs, who called a 15-yard penalty when it should have been a 5-yard penalty, but that was last game or 2 games ago. You know, Tillery has played well while he's been with the Raiders, and I would re-sign him. But that other thing we're saying, like, well, if we re-sign him, we go after corner. I am tired of first-round cornerbacks that don't do shite, if I'm going to use the English term to maybe get it past the censors here. Okay. If I'm drafting a cornerback, okay, I want to draft a cornerback. The highest I want to draft a cornerback is round 2, or a third, or if we had the luxury of having a second first-round pick, which we don't unless we make some trades, then maybe I'll draft a cornerback with the second pick, kind of like we did with red dreadlocks that didn't pan out, that we finally got rid of as well. And actually, he was the second red dreadlocks that we got rid of. I don't want any of our quarterbacks to have red dreadlocks, because if they have red dreadlocks, they're going to suck. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry.
And Captain, I wanted to go to D. Do you have your preliminary draft already on the board?
There's only one corner that I would draft in the first round.
Joey Porter Jr.?
Exactly.
See, I know.
Because his mind is in the game, and he's a second generation.
Right.
He knows how to play. And I wouldn't draft him higher than 17. So if we somehow have a pick that's before 17, I would try to trade back.
Yep.
And pick him up later. I agree with what you say. I don't like corners in the first round. But if we are successful in re-signing Tillery, then we don't need to draft a defensive tackle. If we don't resign Tillery, I want a defensive tackle with the first pick. In the first pick, I want the guy out of Clemson, Brian Breezy. He's originally from Maryland, but he went down to Clemson. 6'5", 316, runs the 40 under 5 seconds. Hands are 10 inches. So the man is big, and you have that kind of bull rush going up the middle, with Max coming off the end. Every now and then you able to blitz. You cause the quarterback on the opposing team to have less than 3 seconds to throw the ball. That right there makes your secondary better. They don't have to try to guard somebody or cover someone for 4 seconds or more. That's where we have our problems at. The Raiders have not had a good defensive tackle since Warren Sapp. When we picked up Warren Sapp, he was already past his prime.
And music to my ears. Now, if you can't get a defensive tackle or a corner first round, what's your third thing on your wish list?
D.
So the third thing would be either outside linebacker, someone that can cover a tight end, or a safety that can cover a tight end.
You got some names for us?
So for the safety, where is it? I just had it right in front of me. Jordan Battle out of Alabama.
Mm-hmm. And the other hybrid you're talking about, linebacker?
And the linebacker that I'm looking at is a J.J. Weaver out of Kentucky or Jack Campbell out of Iowa.
Captain,
I need someone that can move around, because we play against Kansas City. We play against the Chargers. Both of those teams have tight ends. Good thing Denver got rid of their tight end. We play against the tight end every 6 games out of the year, and we can't cover them. That's one of our weaknesses. We can't stop the run.
Well, wait a second. We can't cover the tight end when is it that? The last 20 years, I think. Sorry, I had to interject there. Yeah.
And see,
that's what keeps us up every game. Not being able to cover the tight end and not being able to stop the run.
And see, D, I still.
No matter what the coach is or the defensive coordinator, no one has changed that in 20 years.
No. I still think, Captain, you can help me with this. I still think the colleges don't produce those hybrids that you're talking about. They don't produce enough of them. Your linebackers are still coming out without those cover skills. You got safeties coming out that still don't have those cover skills. I don't think you have enough for your dream defense. A line, that can actually cover a tight end or even a slot receiver. Oh, let me go there. I still don't think you have it, Heidi. Tell me if I'm wrong, D. I don't think the colleges are producing enough of them.
So Robertson out of Louisiana is supposed to be a slot corner, but the last couple of games they have him playing on the outside. He's 5'8", going up against 6'3" wide receivers. He's going to lose that battle 9 out of 10 times. He's a slot corner, and they're playing him out of position. That's why we're getting beat. The quarterback comes to the line and just looks for his number, and that's where he's throwing to. Why? I just got to throw it high. Once that wide receiver jumps, that corner can't jump that high. Just place the ball high.
Yeah, if Emmett Robertson had like 3 more inches in his legs, then he would be an all-pro corner, because he's got all the ability, quicks, and he doesn't do too bad on the shakes. He did well the other day against the guys. Against Aguilar, he actually did pretty well and broke up that one pass that was right to Aguilar, because he was on him. He had the sticks to him, and he was there and he broke it up. So he just needs some height. And like I said, we need to go back into like the 24th century and have that Klingon thing where they put like 3 inches in his legs. Okay, give him another 3 inches and jack him up that way, and he'll be an all-pro quarterback. If he ain't, if they ain't doing that, then he needs to play slot. But the unfortunate thing is that the defensive coordinator said, I don't care about height. I'm going to play him where he's best at. And you have nobody opposite Hobbs. And he's the best that we got opposite Hobbs. Okay. Right now.
D, where does O-line fit in on your draft board?
It better be high, D. I'm like pounding the floor on this.
For the offensive line?
Yeah.
Yeah. What? First of all, guard. Guard.
Offensive line is a right guard.
Right.
Offensive line looks bad, but we have Colton Miller playing left tackle. We have a rookie playing left guard. And they're playing decent. We have a below average center. So it makes it look bad. At right guard, we have Alex Bars, who's been a journeyman. But if we can somehow get a decent right guard, if it's drafted or signed as a free agent, I'll prefer to sign a free agent at right guard and then bring in the gentleman from Ohio State, the rookie, and have him at right tackle.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I agree that Mumford should be the right tackle, and that experiment should start immediately. Illuminor's played well, but actually, I think if you're going to go with the journeyman, I would say throw Illuminor over, okay, from right tackle to right guard, because he played that as well, and he's big and he's stocky and he can play that position. Parham I like at left guard, but if need be, because D, I'm paraphrasing you. You said we got a below average center, but okay, if Parham's the answer, then and they were projecting Parham to maybe be the center of the future. That means you don't need one guard, you need two guards, unless you have a free agent come in at one of those guard positions. You're still going to need another guard, and you're going to need to figure out what the center is. I like James, but he's not, like I said, journeyman. He's middle of the road. He doesn't suck, and he's not the greatest. He's average.
Yeah, and
we had a good center, and I'm not talking about Rodney Hudson. I'm talking about Jimmy Morrissey.
So we're stuck.
Hey, D, did you hear that about we had the center of the future last year with Jimmy Morrissey, and the damn Texans took him off our practice squad? Where is he? Did he sign with them?
Is it the Texans? I'm not sure of that. I
know that the Texans took him off the practice squad, and I think he actually signed with them like long term.
So D, I'm going to talk to the Kardashians for a minute here. There's lots of folks talking about quarterback, first round. What's your thoughts on that?
No. Number one, we don't need a quarterback. There's nothing wrong with Derek Carr. That's the problem. People think there's something wrong with Carr. Carr is better than some quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls in the last 20 years. But if he has a defense that's always going to be ranked 20 or lower, they're not helping the cause. Mm-hmm. If we had a healthy core players, and when I say core players, if Raul was healthy, if Renfro was healthy, and the offensive line plays well, we're going to put up 40 points a game. In the last 3 years, Carr has thrown 1,000 yards to different receivers. It was Raul 2 years ago. It was Renfro last year, and our wide receiver Adams now has over 1,000 yards. That's 3 different receivers, 3 straight years. They talk about his interceptions. Right now, Carr has 11 interceptions for the season. But guess what? Who else has 11 interceptions for the season? The quarterback out of Kansas City. But you don't hear him talk negative about him.
Mm-hmm. They like watching him play.
11 interceptions for the same, and we just in different places right now.
Yeah, and how many of those interceptions were? I'm saying, how many of those interceptions were bounce interceptions like they? And I think there should be a separate stat. I really do. I think there should be a separate stat if it hits the receiver's hands, not a defensive players. If it hits the receiver's hands and goes in the air, that's like that's a separate stat. It's still a pick in the books, but it doesn't count against you. Okay. Kind of like a pitcher he gets earned runs and unearned runs, right? If the defenders have an error, it's not an earned run, but it's still a run. It might be still an interception, but that goes as a separate stat. If it hits the receiver's hands and it bounces that way, it's on the receiver, not the quarterback. Now, if he throws and it hits like in New Orleans, he could have thrown it to three different players at one time where the guy had the interception because he threw to three different guys or the three different guys were around him. That's on Carr. But I still think that there should be a separate stat. I'm sorry, D. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, and let's talk about. So you don't think we need a quarterback, but let's say bottom line, you want to draft the quarterback of the future, kind of. Do you see anybody out there?
Mm-hmm.
And what round do we get them in?
It's a hit or miss depending on the system. I mean, the quarterback San Francisco's playing right now, they playing with their third string quarterback that was the last pick in the draft. Nobody predicted him to do this well after 2 games. If you go with the year Baker Mayfield was drafted, he looked great. He's number 1. He's already on his third team. The last pick in that same first round was Lamar Jackson, who's going to be the next highest paid quarterback. It's a hit or miss with the quarterback. And Lamar Jackson, in my opinion, I like him, but he's overrated. He's not a good throwing quarterback.
Oh, no.
He can run the offense, but he can't hit nobody.
Mm-hmm.
He goes after the tight end all day long.
So what round would you, if you were picking a quarterback, you got any names for us? Maybe third, fourth? What round?
I wouldn't go with a quarterback into the 7th round.
The 7th round?
Look what Green Bay did several years ago. They took Jordan Love. Has he played yet?
Technically, yes, he has.
The Kardashians will.
He's played, but I mean, has he started multiple games when no one else was hurt? Why? Jordan Love has been with Green Bay now going on 5 seasons. Aaron Rodgers ain't leaving. Green Bay wasted the pick by drafting that quarterback.
Okay, true. Yeah, and Pittsburgh never drafted a quarterback when they had I won't butcher his name deliberately.
I don't want, that was mystifying to me why they never prepared for his departure. But go ahead.
Yeah, but D, I mean, I like, and you're saying 7th round. No, I say you got maybe an extra pick in the 3rd round, 4th round, because he who shall not be named was number 199.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he's done okay. There are plenty of quarterbacks out there that if the system is right for them, they will prosper in it. Okay, and you got people like Carson Wentz and Jordan Love and other people that are just languishing because they're not good enough in whatever system that they have. And you need to make sure that it's a system fit, which is why I think that this year it's going to be way important for those individual interviews that you have in at the combine, along with the workouts that you come in. You're going to take somebody like Al Davis used to do with coaches. He's going to take them to a blackboard. He says, "I want you to do this," and it's going to be the quarterback that is cerebral, that can figure things out and can dictate and can run an offense. He might not have the best arm. He might not have the best legs, but as long as he has arms and legs and he can throw it to where he needs to, that will be the quarterback that the Raiders should draft, because it's going to be somebody that McDaniels will give that system to. Mac Jones was not the greatest at Alabama. He won a national title, but he did have the smarts to run that system, and they did pretty well with him last year as a rookie.
Now, and Heidi, I don't mean to exclude you at all on this discussion.
Come on, Heidi, shut up.
I mean, quarterback.
I'm totally biased here. I'm totally biased here, but I like Jake Kaner from Fresno State.
Oh my
Go
gosh,
Bulldogs.
another Fresno. And
I do. He is a top quarterback. He's just not getting the attention.
Mm-hmm. And you think you wait till third round, like the captain said, use some of those extra supplemental picks that you have?
I'm not sure where he'll fall. I'm really not, but I like him and I would jump on him. But that's me.
Well, okay, we're talking quarterbacks here. We're talking not that. Come on, Heidi, work with me on that joke.
He's legal. He's legal.
That's true. Yeah, touche. He is legal. There you go. So again,
But he's a senior and he's got nothing better to do. He's got his bachelor and everything. He's ready to go.
I don't know, D. Who else you got on your draft board? Say 4th, 5th, 6th round.
So the reason I don't draft a quarterback that high, and not that, I understand everybody has what they think needs to happen, but I don't want to draft someone that's going to sit on the bench when we have multiple holes on defense and we need still multiple players. I drafted a quarterback that high, we may lose out on the next defensive end, offensive tackle, wide receiver. That's why I don't think we need a quarterback that high, because if we drafted a quarterback next year and Carr's there, that quarterback's not going to get me playing time, but we may lose out on that next impact player at whatever position it is.
well, that's why I say that you use that like an extra pick that you will get in moving around the draft board. It's not you're not losing out on somebody. It's a bonus for maneuvering, and it's your gift. If somebody is worthy of a third round pick and you get an extra third round pick because you maneuvered to get an extra third round pick and you don't lose anything on the back end, then I say jump on them with that extra pick because you didn't lose anybody that you weren't preparing to not have in the first place. Okay. And then you can say, well, you could have had this guy. Well, yeah, we could have had that guy, but that was the extra pick that we picked up by trading Joe Schlabotnik to the Cardinals. Okay. And we got that extra pick for him.
Good strategy.
Several years ago, we drafted a quarterback out of Michigan State in the 4th round.
Yeah, don't talk to me about that.
That same year, Dak Prescott was drafted by the Dallas Cowboys a couple plays later.
Yeah.
If you talk to Mr. Wiggle, Dak Prescott is the quarterback I wanted. And we could have had a Dak Prescott backing up a Derek Carr right now and didn't have to trade up to do it. A quarterback is a hard thing to pick because, like you said, it depends on how they're running their college offense. Because some college offense, they're straight shotgun, and you won't know that until you try to get them under center. We can do all the studies we want, but like you said also, unless that player is on the oh my goodness, I just lost my train of thought.
Don't worry about that because I'm moving on. I'm still trying to pull out of you some picks. What are you thinking about 4th round, 5th round, 6th round? Are you thinking all defense?
I'm not thinking all defense. I would like to get another guard. I'd like to get another wide receiver. We don't need no more running backs. I'd like to get another tight end because
tight end.
If we're going to keep with Josh, we know he likes to use 2 tight end sets. Foster is good, but Foster's going to be a free agent. How much money are we willing to invest in Foster?
Well, I think with Foster, like I said, I put some money on Foster, and I would move Waller for getting rid of the money and getting picks for Waller, because Waller's good, but how good is a guy that's not available? It costs a lot of money when you can get somebody who's good and available and get extra picks for him. That's my thinking.
If we can make that happen, I would do it.
Right.
You would move him, huh? I'm wondering though if Josh is thinking that's my Gronk, that's my Gronkowski, and the fact that they were willing to extend him and pay them, and then what's the dead cap issue? I mean, how much are we going to have to eat of that contract?
Not well. I don't know if you trade him though. Doesn't the other team pick up the contract options? I believe as it is, because the team is trading for the player and the money. Okay,
exactly.
The team is
responsible for that
trading
money,
for that contract
available in your salary cap.
Right. So you
Not
lose
guaranteed money, though. Not guaranteed money. It does not have to be. A team can negotiate. Not the guaranteed money. Okay. The salary, yes. And that's one thing that people don't understand. How did Chicago move Mac to the Chargers? Well, they had to finish paying out the guaranteed money, which they do this year. So they didn't move the guaranteed money over to the Chargers. They just moved his salary.
I'll look while you guys are debating. I'm going to go see what the guaranteed money is on Waller's contract. I'll do that
Right.
as an experiment. You
Because
ladies,
I think you have to
and
take that dead cap. All right, cap.
Waller's cap hit for next year is 12.6.
12.6.
I don't know what the guaranteed is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
see, that money is the money
I'm pulling up. Let's see. I don't need to subscribe to you. Spot Track. Shut up. See, I don't have to do that. Yeah, his average 17 mil. Guaranteed thing was 19,250. Yeah, I'm looking at Waller. So it says that next year his base is 11, and a guaranteed is call it 9.
Yeah.
So you would have to and it says you get potential out in 2024. You're going to eat 9 million. But honestly, and I know that it's not my money, but 9 million is not that much considering.
No, it's not. It's
a team
little
willing to give you a draft pick or 2 for him.
Right.
So if a team's willing to give up 2 third-round draft picks, one next year and one the following year, that's a great offer. Because now you pick up that third round to do something with. You freed up money so you can go sign a free agent tight end that may fit your system. So, and he hasn't been 100% healthy the last couple of years. So let some other team deal with it.
The other part, I didn't hear you at the front end, D, about Josh Jacobs. What's your move on Josh Jacobs as a GM?
We have to re-sign him.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to cost us $12 million.
What about the guaranteed money? He's going to knock the guaranteed.
He's going to make the average of the top 3 running backs 2023, which is going to be around $12 million.
Are you talking about franchising him?
Yes. There's no one else on the team that's worth being franchised.
I don't know, Heidi.
His franchise number is 10 something.
But when you have a running back that's number 1 that can do multiple things and it's starting to come into his own, you can't replace. It's hard to replace that in 1 year.
But you just told us we got 4 other guys on the bench and we have Zeus.
Right, we have multiple other running backs, but none of them are able to do what he's doing. Abdullah's not getting it done. White had a couple of big runs in 1 game. Bowman's not even seeing the field.
Yeah, get rid of Bowman.
And the other running back that we drafted out of UCLA is not seeing the field either.
Yeah, Brown.
That means nobody's able to pass him.
Yeah, I forgot about Blair Brown.
Britton, isn't it Brittain?
Britton Brown, whatever.
Yeah, and yeah, and I understand that, but I mean, it's really not fair to say I don't know what these guys will do since Josh gets 95% of the carries. I mean, if you give Zeus 50% of the carries, I think you'll see a difference and you'll start saying to yourself, yeah, he can do some things too. But he's not been out there, so how do you know?
But in order for them to break that type of run, you have to have an above-average offensive line, and we don't have that.
Well,
so Josh is doing this without an above-average offensive line.
Well, but it took him 4 years, and he had a good line when he first came here. So let's not talk about it took him 4 years to break a touchdown run from 50+ yards. He has 1 in his career as a Raider. 1.
Well, actually, the other thing is that I'm not going to say the P way, but the way in New England was RBC. And we got enough people for an RBC, running back by committee, here if we utilized it, where we actually broke down, 30, even if it was 40, 30, 30, or 50, 30, 20, and Josh would be the 50. We still need to see the other elements of the running back by committee. And by the way, it would also lengthen Josh's ability, because now he's starting to get on that high side, and running backs hit that wall at 30 per se. And that's what we're going to have. Zeus can be that. He
And
can
he's
be
cheap.
that, and he's cheap.
I mean, this is the P way. That you want to see the P way in operation. They don't think they're going to be losing anything. The other good part is, since Josh has had such a wonderful year, D, hey, what about draft picks he's going to fetch in a trade? What do you think about that?
Well, not in a trade, but in a walk.
Right,
because he would just walk away. He would just
Oh,
walk away.
excuse me. That's where he's in a fifth year option. Okay, so you get nothing for him.
And if he walked away, then I go after Kareem Hunt.
Oh yeah,
because Kareem Hunt hasn't been used that much in the last 3 years in Cleveland.
I think they tried to deal him this year, and there were no takers. Yeah, there were no takers in it. So you're saying we got to retain, but there's going to be a cost for retaining Jacobs. You're going to have to do something. I don't see Renfro being here. They're going to have to, Heidi, help me out here. I mean, they're going to have to do some moving around, aren't they?
Yeah. And I'm more with Captain as far as moving Waller. I would like to move him. I think that I think greener pastures are out there for him. I like the guy. I don't know. I don't think he quite belongs anymore.
But you still got to move some other people to pay Josh what he wants. Josh deserves, and D, help me out. Josh deserves that $12 million and lots of guaranteed money, and that's what he knows he's gonna fetch on the free agent market. Maybe. I mean,
he would. He's still young. He's still young. He'll get it.
Running back, and I don't see. Maybe the Jets will go after. No, I don't even see the Jets going after running back, because they've drafted a couple of running backs over the last couple of years. Miami, no. Buffalo, no. What's the other team in that division? New England, no.
Our old buddy Chicago.
Baltimore, no.
What about
Denver, yes.
What about Kansas City and Denver going after Jacobs? I think that he wouldn't leave. He wouldn't leave far. He'd go in division if he wants the money and the playing time and the proverbial middle finger to the Raiders. But that also, and the other thing is that, and people bring up the fact that Josh Jacobs has Raider tattoos on, which is fine. If he wants to give a somewhat of a discount to be with the team that he wants to be with, okay. But you know what? You can also pay a tattoo artist maybe a couple $1,000s to do overscripts of tattoos as well.
Exactly.
and
he doesn't take any under $10 million.
Yeah. Heidi, you were saying something about running backs not being that,
I think that Jacobs is special enough that he transcends that saying that running backs are a dime a dozen. But the thing is, McDaniels kept 147 running backs, and he's not using them. And I'm not sure if it's just because Josh Jacobs has done so well that he has not, or what it is. With Josh Jacobs, his franchise tag number will be 10 something, and I would agree that his open market number is 12. Now, you can franchise him, and then work out a long-term deal, because
Yes.
running backs like him don't play on a franchise tag. That they don't. That they lose. It's too much of a risk of injury and too much money lost. But you can still franchise tag him to make him safe and then work out that long-term deal. And I think he's special enough to do that. He's young, and he's proved his worth this year. Now I know that you love Zeus, Peggy. And I know Josh has never been your favorite running back, but I think he's special enough that he deserves it.
And I think that they will probably find a way. Now let's move this conversation on to all the talk about moving car. And D, you and I are in agreement. I don't either, but if you were moving him,
Mark Davis wanted to draft Carr with our first round pick the year we drafted him in the second round. He wanted Carr from day one. He's not going to let Carr go. Of all the draft picks over the last 5 years, Carr is basically the only one still there.
Basically.
5 years or longer. Everyone else is coming on.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Not a one of McKenzie's picks is here, but Carr. That's true. And so, if we were in a discussion, what would, and Captain, you can chime in on this too, what would get your attention if a team were to approach you? What would they have to be offering?
You want me or D on that first?
I want you first on that. Carr. What would they have to be offering?
A car. Carr would have to fetch me. I'd like to get a 1, but you might not even get that. But I'd like to get a 1, a couple 2s, and a couple 4s.
Wow. Just a boatload of draft picks, huh?
Yeah, because the more draft picks you have, the more chances you have at the roulette, or if you're playing black and red and a bunch of numbers scattered around and that wheel goes around, you're more likely to get a hit.
So draft picks would make you pay attention. Let's say
draft picks would make me pay attention because you're gonna lose him. You're only gonna eat so much. Like I think it was like $5 million if he walks. Okay, but if you trade, like I said, if you trade him again, I think that, and we'd have to check to see if that's the $5 million that people are talking about as far as the guaranteed money. If that's all it is, then that's all it is. And oh, by the way, if you really want them, by the way, you guys pay that.
D, what would get your attention on draft day or even before that to move Carr?
So I'll have to look at the teams out there and see what teams are a quarterback away and what can I pull from them. Like what the Rams did in order to get their quarterback.
Stafford.
They paid up a lot, and now they're in rebuild stage. And they're not going to be the team that they were for the next 7 to 10 years.
Wow.
Is that worth one Super Bowl? Maybe. Depends on the team.
For Kroenke,
because the Rams they don't have any draft capital. They don't have any money. The Rams are in rebuild stage right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it paid out for them because they got the one chip. Detroit, on the flip side of that, they look like they're going to the playoffs and picked up extra picks. So this may have turned Detroit around for the next several years because they were able to pick up so many draft picks and they got a quarterback in return.
Hold up. They may not be happy with Goff, huh?
Who's that quarterback?
Well, that's going to be interesting to see if they stick with Goff. I mean, who else? What other teams out there you think they might be interested in that deal if they come to Captain with all those draft picks? What teams you think will come?
What team may be out there? So I look at what quarterbacks may be available.
Well,
Do I
I
want
know
a Geno
one team.
Smith? No. Do I want a Jimmy G? No.
No, maybe. Maybe in the right. See, that's the thing, though. Remember, Jimmy G in McDaniel's system did pretty well. Again, it's about who can handle the system. I'm not saying I want him, but I'm saying if you're gonna input that name as a placeholder, yeah, he's not a bad placeholder.
Jimmy G always had a
And
defense.
I
That's the only reason he's been successful.
quarterback $30-some million when they now have 2 rookie quarterbacks on their team.
Yeah.
And they have a strong defense. So now they're gambling to give away stuff just to get a quarterback. They won't do it. Not John Lynch, not as the GM.
No. No.
You have to see what's out there and play to your audience. Like,
Right.
Minnesota's never going to win, but they are a team that's going to make the playoffs for the next 5 years. They're never going to win.
Who are you still thinking about mulling over what team could come to the captain with all those draft picks?
You asked me.
It would have to be the perfect situation, just like what the Rams did. That was perfect for them. It worked.
Was.
But how many teams gamble that and it doesn't work?
I know one team that's kind of local that would be looking for a quarterback.
Maybe the Redskins.
Who?
So I was about to say Washington.
Well,
Washington may be willing to do that. Give up a Heineke, give up a defensive tackle, and give me 2 draft picks.
You want to
Now I have a quarterback that will play his heart out, and depending on what those 2 draft picks are, I may be able to move forward. At the same time, I would then trade Waller and pick up more draft picks. And then I could have the money that I can save and re-sign Jacobs.
True. Now that's a good scenario. That's an interesting scenario there. And anybody who's watching and listening, I mean, put that into your pipe because, that's something that can happen with the right blandishments. Can you, Captain and Heidi, can you think of one more team that might be interested in dealing for Carr?
I already said it.
Well,
That might be.
yeah, the fake Pirates.
D, we have the fake
yeah.
Pirates on the board, otherwise known as the local team here.
I could see Carolina. Carolina's been dying for a quarterback.
Yep. Would they give up what we'd be asking? And Edward agrees with you about Carolina. D, you thinking? I'm looking
That
at
would
New
be a
Orleans.
great fit for New Orleans.
I'm looking at New Orleans too.
Carr would be a
D,
great fit there.
D, my boy Edward Winchell was talking, say that he can see Carr going to Carolina or New Orleans, and that actually that's if we either let him go or trade him, because then if we trade him, right, to one of those teams, A, they pick up the deal. B, he's out of the conference.
Yes.
And we don't see him until
Every
2
4
years from now. We don't see him until we play the NFC South again, which is I think in 2022.
So you understand that Carr and Adams is a package deal, right?
Yeah,
I
but
think we picked up Adams.
yeah, but I honestly think that it was a bait and switch. They signed Carr to get Adams, and once they got Adams, they maneuvered. They got that deal the way they wanted to do it, because Adams ain't gonna really say, "Oh, I ain't gonna play for this guy." He's in for the long haul. He doesn't have all of the cutouts that Carr does. So Carr was signed first, then they signed Adams. And Jerry, I think Houston's going to have the number 1 pick. They're going to pick whoever the hell they want.
Yeah, Jerry. I mean, hi, and I understand. D, we have somebody who's suggesting Houston. Doesn't Carr have right of first refuse? Can he refuse a trade? I heard that
Yeah,
that was in
he's
his
got a no
contract.
trade clause.
Yep.
I mean, who really goes to Houston? I mean,
So the only two quarterbacks that I can see that can come in above Carr, and I don't care for either one of these two quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady.
I knew what was coming, and I made sure I knew what was coming, and I did I get my ears covered in time?
no, you didn't. You heard it. You
I
heard
don't
him
want
say
either
it.
one of them. I don't believe in Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has played in that easy conference for all these years, and he has one ring.
Yeah,
Tom Brady played with the referees in his back pocket, and he has multiple rings. And when Tom Brady won, a quarterback doesn't win a Super Bowl by himself. You have to have a full team, and the Raiders have been missing on a defense. So if you bring in either one of those quarterbacks, you're paying them more money than you're paying Derek Carr, which means you don't allow to pick up and make your defense stronger.
That's true. Now we're at the end of our time here, D, and I wanted to thank you so much for coming on and giving us some of your wisdom about your GM wisdom, right? Giving the captain something to think about, and giving Heidi something to think about
I'm always
while they're making their decisions for next year, right? Because we got a lot of stuff to do.
Go ahead,
Thank
D.
you. If you were to bring Whipple and I on here, and the way him and I communicate weekly as far as the tapes that we watch, the videos, the players, the positions, him and I could put together multiple draft options and show you which direction the team should be going. And the Raiders have not addressed a defense. When we drafted Khalil Mack,
Who?
we didn't have nobody else. I'm sorry. Yeah, Khalil Mack. When we drafted him,
Oh,
we had nobody else from that defensive line.
Oh, 50 who?
No one.
I'm sorry. I just, 50 who. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's been the Raiders' main issue is the defensive direction.
A season or two later, we drafted Amari Cooper, and me and Whit were looking at Leonard Williams out of USC.
Yeah.
You need more than one player on the defensive line to be able to create the correct pressure. And you have to win on the line. You build a team from the line, offense and defense, and then you build outward. A quarterback is your last true position that you truly need.
Right.
The Baltimore Ravens have proven that. They won 2 Super Bowls with a great defense, and Trent Dilfer as one of the quarterbacks, and Joe Flacco as the other? Come on. And you don't think Derek Carr is better than both of them combined?
Raider fans missed that.
New England won half of those Super Bowls with a defense. They gave all the praise to Tom Brady. The Rams won with a defense. Why? They were able to get other players on their defense to build it up. It just happened to be the quarterback that they brought in was a quarterback that was in the Detroit Lions.
All right.
They won with a defense. Tom Brady just happened to be the offensive player because Jameis Winston threw 30 interceptions.
We'll get into that a little later.
2 Super Bowls and he went to Denver. He let his brother win. New England lost the Super Bowl to Eli Manning twice. What a great offensive quarterback. Teams won with a defense and playing as a team. And the Raiders have not given Derek Carr a true defense to play with in 9 seasons. And you expect him to be able to pull miracles? Most quarterbacks don't do it. Aaron Rodgers doesn't do it. Brett Favre didn't do it. What's the guy in Kansas City? He has 1 Super Bowl. Why? They don't have a defense.
Mediocre. All right.
That's all you want.
All right, D. I got to round this up. We're out of time. But Captain, you think
we need to do it again? We need to do it again.
Yeah, hey, and we'll have to get your camera and your mic working next time there, partner.
And Jeff.
Peggy's house.
Yeah, that's
right. Go to Peggy's house. That's right.
That's what he's gonna do. And Jeff too. And I think we'll have some fun after the season is over, putting together some scenarios. Heidi, I want
My
you to.
partner will come on, and T3 will help us with his scenarios,
I
and
think. I think.
Then I'm just gonna moderate because I got 3 at
yep.
Peggy's house. I got three with Kevlar. Okay, with
Uh-huh.
T3 and Angria. I'm gonna do this.
That's right. We're gonna be GMs. We're gonna be Zigglers for the day. And I think we can come up with some workable scenarios that might be interesting to our audience. Anyway, thanks so much, D. You know I owe you.
Thank you.
Do
We
you still
really.
there?
Thank you.
There you go.
I'm still here.
Okay, you wanted to make sure it's like we didn't want you to go before your outro.
All right. But
Oh,
thank
no.
you so much, and we'll be talking
You do
soon.
this.
And happy holidays to you.
And happy holidays to all of our listeners.
All right, we're out
Happy
of here.
holidays, D.
We're out of here.
Oh,
See you in 2
okay.
weeks. All
I
right,
do.
D. Thank you.
All right. Talk to y'all later.
Bye.
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 Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. We will see you in 2 weeks. We'll see you next year.
Yeah, it will be next year. Take care there, Heidi, and obviously tell Angry as well, and T3 because you get a chance to hang out with him a little bit more often than I do. So give my best to him as well.
Today's the winter solstice, or tomorrow's winter solstice. It's the longest night of the year. So we will be thinking of all of you and enjoying our darkness.
There you go. All right. Hey,
all right. Good night, everyone.
All right, folks. This has been Ladies' Night with Peggy and Heidi, and our guest tonight was D Cato from. I'm gonna get my phone. See, now that D's not talking, I got to turn my phone to where it is. There you go. Let's see here. Turn on the volume so you don't have to hear this. Okay, yes, it's all down. So again, thank you for being here. Remember, tomorrow on this channel, it'll be starting with the Wild Wild West show, where every team in the AFC West won last week. Should be a fun show. So join us at the Wild Wild West show, which will be here on the channel for YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, please come to the YouTube channel, Captain Jack Rackham Levy. Come to that channel. The Wild Wild West show for AFC West starts at 7:30 Eastern time. 7:30 Eastern time, and then I bail about 5 minutes to 9 because I got to get over to the other show, which is NFL Nation Live, which is the show that Ref Guru and Violator are the big sticks. And for comic relief, you get the old pirate here that gets to play if you care. You know, actually, I had my hoodie ready. I had my hoodie ready. So tomorrow on NFL Nation Live, you'll see the hoodie. I got the hoodie already. So we'll be talking, on NFL Nation Live. I'll have the hoodie and
Coach Belichick is going to make an appearance over on NFL Nation Live because the New England Belichicks lost because they didn't get the memo. The NFL didn't get the memo.
There you go. Preview of NFL Nation Live tomorrow. That'll be 9:00 Eastern on NFL Nation Live YouTube, and this YouTube, Captain Jack Rackham. Also, if you prefer, and we do like that you go to all of the other people, the MHRT network on YouTube, subscribe through there. They got good shows like Richie Richey's on there. The Coach Defense is the I can't remember Coach's, he has his podcast. So I can't remember what Coach's podcast is, but come to Wild Wild West tier, and we'll get all of that stuff. In fact, if you see the advertisements that we do for it, you'll be able to check that out as well. Again, thank you for joining us on Silver and Black Ladies Night. Bid you adieu. Join us tomorrow. And then, of course, Thursday, regular 9 o'clock Eastern time. We'll be talking. Raiders play two nights later on Saturday night, Christmas Eve. And 50 years of the Immaculate Deception, I believe, actually is, I think, tonight. Wow. We will definitely be talking about that game on Saturday night. So take care. Just like Willie Wayne says, go Raiders. And happy Hanukkah to all my Jewish friends out here. And as Matthew 72007 says, Merry Christmas. And thank you for that great show. And we'll see you all on this channel as well as others tomorrow and Thursday. But come on over and enjoy some great, great football and sports talk. We'll see you tomorrow. And remember, like, share, and subscribe. Take care, everybody.